got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, along with Katie.
Good morning. I
Good
live.
morning. Welcome back.
Thanks.
And Gal is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I have no idea. I know Spence is on his way to, where was it?
Kiwiland.
Where?
Kiwiland. New
Okay.
Zealand. Yeah.
And I don't know where Nick
Nick-
is. He's either he's playing hooky or he's busy with politics stuff. But
He,
anyway,
he spent too long on the beach. Got
uh,
beached out.
our number is
Could be.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMake Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. So another week gone by.
Yep. I'm thankful that I recovered so fast. I had COVID the past couple weeks, and it wasn't super bad. I was thankfully, but that exhaustion is killer, man. I just had no energy to do anything. I'd get up, do something, work for a couple hours in the morning, and then sleep the rest of the day.
Which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I knew it was COVID though, because whenever I get sick, it's like my body's exhausted and it wants to sleep, but it just can't. I just lay there and I feel miserable. But with COVID, it's like I felt miserable and then immediately I was like fell asleep. I was like, oh, uh-oh. And then I lost my sense of smell and taste, and I was like, okay.
Yep. It's not the end of the world.
Nah.
It's sort of like becoming okay, I've got a cold kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
actually a
don't
lot better than a cold for me because when I get a cold, I can't breathe for like 2 weeks straight. With COVID, it was just it was like 3 days of like really snotty grossness, and then the rest was just kind of recovering.
I'm not following the statistics of COVID. I don't know if anybody does anymore unless they have it. But what does it I mean, are people still alarmed? Are people still dying from it? And
I think the yes and no. I think what it is the chance of getting long COVID, like for I think like for most people, and granted I don't have any statistics to back this up, but
okay.
I feel like for most people they get the short version of COVID, which is like the cold version. And but then there's always a chance that it can morph into long COVID, which is like the devastating kind.
Oh.
And I know a few people. I've heard that a few people have developed into long COVID, and it's pretty bad. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't really follow it either, and I don't have TV, so I don't watch the news or anything like that. Get all my news from TikTok.
Uh, we have a TV. We don't watch news.
Yeah. Well, speaking of news, I did hear on the radio that Disney is investing $1.5 billion into Epic Games. Apparently, they bought 10% of the company,
Yep.
and yeah, so I was in the car driving, and they mentioned it on the radio. They do like those short little, I don't know, 5-minute blurbs or whatever, and they talked about that, and I was like, dang, 10% of the company for $1.5 billion. Like, I don't even know how much that company's worth. That's crazy. Well, I guess you could do the math. What is that, like $12 billion? But that's insane.
Yep.
But they're gonna make games for Disney, I guess, which is smart to hey outsource it to another company.
It just being um kind of like partners.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a prestigious thing.
I bet you Disney couldn't buy them, and they were sad about that because what they done in the animation industry is they bought up all of their competitors and shut down the studios. So it's like, oh, we're gonna buy Epic, and then they got into talks about it, and they're like, oh man, $10 billion, maybe not.
What is it for them? It's nothing.
I don't know. $10 billion is a lot of money. Uh,
There's another story about Disney.
oh,
Disney Plus has started to inform subscribers about new changes to its terms of service that will, among other things, make it harder for people to access the service using login credentials that aren't actually theirs.
yeah, password sharing.
The updated terms come a few months after Disney Plus implemented similar measures for its Canadian subscribers, and just days after Hulu sent out similar notices to users about changes of its own TOS, and its plans to stop password sharing in the coming week. Like
See,
Hulu's terms of service, the changes to Disney Plus agreement are dated January 25th and are already in effect for new customers. Per Disney Plus emails, existing subscribers can expect the new restrictions to go into effect on March 14th.
look at what Netflix started. They
Yeah, I
did
mean,
the
well, they
password sharing thing, and
yeah,
now everybody's gonna follow suit.
yeah, but I think it's like Netflix did the homework for everybody, the hard work. Now they just have to implement the same kind of technology.
Yeah, yep.
So
They wanted
it's,
them to take the bullet first.
uh, but hey,
I'm not like, look at airlines.
hmm
Until before the pandemic, right? Uh, all of the airlines will charge $250 fee for changes to a flight, right? Unless you bought the expensive flex ticket and all that. Today, those charges are completely waived. They still advertise them as if they're doing us a favor and those charges are waived and they're there, but we don't pay them and all that. But the thing is, once everybody dropped them during the pandemic, right? They can't really find the. They know that once they'll do that, they'll lose like a whole bunch of customers.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one who's going to do it is actually going to get hit immediately hard. But once everybody will put that back on, and I hope they never do, but once that'll happen, right? Then it'll be, yeah, this is normal. This is day-to-day business. Probably this is the same thing.
no,
Because the first thing that happened when Netflix did it was sort of user outrage and let's figure out how to break this and I'll stop using Netflix, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Um, but if everybody's doing it, then yeah, then that outrage means nothing.
well, it's it's always an outrage in the beginning, and a lot of people making a lot of hoopla about it. And after a while, it just subsides. What do we hear about Netflix? Nothing anymore.
Also, too, it's like people make changes based on their wallet, right? So
Yeah,
it's not like
true.
these companies have to do it. They just want more money. And if they lose subscriptions and they get hit on their bottom line, then they'll reverse it. And
hmm
it's kind of the same thing with the airline thing. It's like one, people weren't traveling during COVID anyways, and people were scared to buy tickets because they were worried that if they got sick, they'd have to pay all this money, so they weren't even going to worry about it. And so the airlines were like, "Oh no, we'll take away your worry." So it's a strategic move, because it doesn't cost them any money, like the airlines, to change tickets or to change whatever. It's just a convenience fee. Um, but if people drop Disney or drop Netflix, then you better believe they're going to reverse it to get more people to
yeah,
come
but
back.
if enough people drop
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
it has to significantly impact.
yeah. And there was a story about them. Where is it? Dang it! I mean, if we stay on streaming and all that kind of stuff, first of all, fresh on the heels of its $40 million fundraise, streaming media company Plex announced its expansion into new business, a movie rentals storefront.
Mm.
The addition, which will initially be offered to U.S. customers, will give the streamer another means of generating revenue beyond its subscription products and ad supported streaming. A diversification that will prove critical as the ad market continues to be unpredictable. So, ads are not doing it, and they're going into movies and not, and I mean, serious movies. We're not
Yeah.
talking B movies.
Yeah, but paid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's paid. You
Fine.
rent them.
I see zero problem with that.
No,
Yeah.
no problem. No,
Um,
yeah, I agree. No problem.
yeah.
I wonder how much it would
Oh,
cost.
yeah. Go ahead.
Not that I don't mind renting movies, especially if they're new, but it's I remember we used to rent the movies on the cable boxes because the cable boxes
Right.
would make it easy on demand.
Hmm.
And then Netflix started adding some movies. But what's crazy is that recently, granted, I'm not super into renting movies, but when I did look it up, it was like it was. In some instances, it was like renting the movie cost $7, but buying it cost 9. So it's like, what? Spend a couple extra dollars to own the movie. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what their rental prices are gonna be.
Okay, explain buying the movie. You
Uh,
download it and you have it
yeah,
on,
You're
you
not
have.
time limited.
Yeah, you're not time limited. Yeah,
but but
you
do you
own it.
but do you have it on your computer?
No. No, that's part of the problem. The model that was introduced by well, first of all, Google Video, not Google, sorry, Amazon Video, and later on by iTunes, where
Mhm.
you would purchase, basically you would purchase the license to access the content whenever you want, right? Um, the problem there is it depends on the contract that Apple has with the content providers,
Provide.
creators, right? So if MGM decides to pull their catalog out of iTunes, then if you bought from iTunes, you might lose access to the data that you bought. So this is a lot harsher than, let's say, okay, I bought a Blu-ray and now Blu-ray drives are not being manufactured
Yeah.
anymore. It is completely different, right? It's you
Mhm.
can still probably get a physical one or even stack a bunch of them. I mean, I can still play video cassettes as long as I have a video
Yeah. Player.
cassette player,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, nobody's making them, but if I own them, that exists. With these, it's just it's a crapshoot because and I think back a few years ago we had these articles where yeah suddenly somebody who bought the movie on Apple suddenly don't have access to it anymore. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah, problem.
Also think.
Ownership is like it's a luxury that the big companies do not really care about when it comes to you, right?
Mhm.
So
I also think that it depends on the audience member because for a family that's got 2 kids, mom and dad, them going to the movies is gonna cost like, I don't know, $50, like it's crazy. And so to rent something for $7 versus to own it, they'd be like, "Here, $7, and we can all sit down and we could watch it for 24 hours straight or whatever, however long you have the
right,
rental thing." So it makes sense. For me individually, I I don't know, I just think about like renting or owning, but I mean, you're right. You don't really own it. You it's not owning you're owning the access to the movie as long as the access is open.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a problem. But yeah, I mean, it's a model that is already established. Uh, there is a certain, I would call it, trust level, right, of the consumer with that. So Plex entering this doesn't doesn't sound like nuts, and power to them. I just I don't see their use. I mean, it'll be interesting if they'll ever publish some stats about the amount of users who are actually using their free with ads content, and later on when they start selling, like, how many users do you have that actually pay for this, how many users do you have that actually pay for this. But they're not a public company, so I don't think we'll ever see that.
Yeah. I mean, they are surviving even without this. So adding this can only help. I don't think anybody is going to leave Plex because of it, because that's nothing that you are going to be forced into. I mean, yeah, if you want, we also have this. So yeah, but anyway, something else that's going on as far as streaming, Fox, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Disney are planning to launch a new streaming joint venture that will combine all their sports programming under a single broadband roof. This is coming
Hmm.
from Variety. The move will put content from ESPN, TNT, and Fox Sports on a new standalone app, and in the process, likely shake up the world of TV sports. The three media giants are slated to launch the new service in the fall. Subscribers would get access to linear sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SECN, ACCN, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1, FS2, BTN, TNT, TBS, True TV, and ESPN Plus. As
Aren't those
well,
all owned by Disney?
I
Yeah,
don't.
they are.
They
Yeah,
are.
so yeah, so I think
Fox
it's
and ESPN, that's Disney.
How about
You Warner
TBS?
Brothers is different though.
did you say Warner Brothers?
I think you
Oh,
started with Warner Brothers
Yeah,
as well, right?
it's Fox, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Disney,
uh, huh.
and as well as hundreds of hours from the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL, and many top college divisions. Pricing will be announced at a later date. I know a lot of people stay with cable just because of sports, because some of
Yeah,
these sports not
it's a
available.
hot it's a hot mess. Like specifically with hockey right now. So it's so hard to watch local games because Valley Sports owns the rights or whatever to broadcast for the Triangle. So you can't watch it on ESPN Plus unless you're outside of North Carolina. If you're outside of North Carolina, then you can watch the games. If you're not, you have to watch on the Bally app. But the Bally app is awful, and I would say like half the time it doesn't work. But then now the company is like filing for bankruptcy or something. So it's like up in the air what's going to happen next year as far as what I know. I haven't really researched it or whatever. So hopefully it gets all the way picked up by ESPN so we can stop having blackout dates, because that's another thing. It's like you can't watch it if they're broadcasting, like another network picks it up, it's blacked out in the triangle. So it's like it's so hard to watch your teams. That's why I end up watching illegal streams, because there's no blackout, there's no nothing. Somebody uploads the feed. It's like I'm trying to watch it legally and they make it so hard. Ugh.
That was the case to begin with. Piracy flourished because they made it hard to figure out how to use it, or they were way too expensive.
And what's crazy is I have access to Bally streaming, and I try to watch it on there, but there's been quite a few instances where the game won't load, or the game will buffer, or it like skips. It will pause and then restart and then do all this like crazy stuff. Like it's just not. It's just it's very annoying and inefficient. So I just go back. There was a time I think it was like 3 games in a row where they couldn't get it to work, like the streaming to work, and people had to find ways around it. And so I'm just like, yo ho ho, pirate's life for me.
Uh,
So if they can get all of that on one place, I'll be fine with
yeah,
that. So
but you don't know that these policies will change either.
I know that's true too. So like, yeah, I could buy this new sports app that's coming out, but if the local TV stations still have the rights to it, then I can't watch it on there because it'll be blacked out because they're giving courtesy to the local stations.
Yeah.
So it's not a one all solution. So people just have to do their research before they go, especially if they watch their team, whatever, just see how they can get access to it because it might not even be valid. Like I said, I would pay for Disney or ESPN Plus in a heartbeat if I could watch the games on there, but I can't.
Yeah, you can't if they're here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and they
Yeah.
play half their games at home, so
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I always found it funny that the local crowd is usually the one being penalized the most by these.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? I don't understand. Ugh, drives me crazy. I mean, and then people are like, "Well, just get a VPN. You could just use a VPN." And I was like, "Yes, but I
yeah,
feel like I shouldn't have to use a VPN in order to watch my local games. Like that's
for
it's
sure.
yeah." So, and especially too for people that aren't super tech savvy that just want to watch it the legal way and they can't. So that
You try to
Yeah,
do it
plus
legally.
setting up a VPN for your TV, right? Definitely need to be at least understand what a router is and how to configure it and
exactly.
what are the options there. So it's never an easy thing. Yeah. And
Oh.
unlike C2K listeners, they don't have Amnon.
Yeah. I know you should open up a new service. Watch your favorite sports thing.
Yeah,
You
no, that's just DCMA written all over it.
Right.
Don't.
Well, you see, you
Wouldn't
get a
destroy it.
VPN for your VPN, so they can't track you.
Nah. Nah. I
Yeah,
got
it'll be
better things to
interesting
do.
if VPN companies will say, when you buy us, use a VPN.
Yeah.
All right, and we were talking about Google. So Google has been trying to break into TV for close to 2 decades. It's here now. Its YouTube TV offering has become one of the biggest pay TV services in the US. YouTube TV, which like conventional pay TV sells a bundle of dozens of channels, now has more than 8 million subscribers. YouTube CEO Neil Mohan announced Tuesday morning. That makes YouTube the fourth largest pay TV service in the country,
Wow.
behind Charter and Comcast, and DirecTV at around 11 million.
I had YouTube TV, and I splurged on it because at the time it was $45 a month. Now I don't know what it is, probably around $70 or $80. And but you know what I could watch on there that was really easy?
What?
My hockey games. And then guess what happened is that talking about sports again is that the sports broadcast decided to come out with their own app and their own thing, and so they pulled it away from all the other networks, and so then I dropped YouTube TV because I wasn't about to pay $45 a month to like watch TV every now and then.
Wow.
So wait, no, this is interesting, right? I'm we're looking to get a bunch of friends come over tonight and watch the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to the YouTube TV webpage, and they give first 3 months free. So basically,
Oh,
if I if I go on the trial, I can watch the Super Bowl for free and then cancel.
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess.
I'm gonna report back if that worked next week.
I liked it. Like when I first did YouTube TV, I enjoyed it. It was really easy to use. I watch YouTube all the time, so their UI was YouTube friendly or whatever. Like it was easy for me to
Yeah.
watch, and the convenience of it was really good. I got two things. I got priced out, and I didn't want to. Again, I didn't use the service all the time, and it just didn't justify me spending $70 a month on something that I barely use.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean I agree. The price per month right now, they're throwing out two numbers: $73 a month and $63 a month. Right?
Yeah, see.
I
When it
will
was
not
when it was
pay that
around
because I do not consume TV that way. So
exactly.
for sure.
When it was around $40, I was like, yeah, that's great because again, my hockey team was on there. They had the channel for it. And so I was watching a game every other day, so it was worth it. But it outpriced my use for it.
Interesting. Round and round in circles.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe I will subscribe again just to get that free 3 months. So not that I care about the Super Bowl, but I want to watch the halftime show.
Actually, if you do that, you definitely report back because it'll be interesting after you've been a paid subscriber for a while, right?
Yeah.
Now the time have passed, do you get that trial?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right? That's an
Yeah.
interesting thing.
Are
Because
they
I started doing it when it like first came out, so it's been like I don't know 5 years or something since they had the
Yeah.
$45 a month.
Yeah, I mean, if the I remember when cable was king, right?
Yeah,
And you had options. That's not always the case, but when you left the cable company, they said either 3 or 6 months need to pass until you can get a new promotion, right? Because only using promotion it would make sense.
yeah.
So maybe it's the same thing. If it
Let me look it
is,
up.
then hey, power to us. At least once a year, I have a solution for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
did you do it? Did you do you did it, right? Gal?
No, I'm just looking at it, and
Oh,
that's what I'm gonna do for tonight.
I'm
So
I'm I'm wondering, I mean, if Katie, are they still sending you offers of, "Hey, we want you back," and
No,
things
no,
like.
but I just went on there and I logged in with my a Gmail account and it says start free trial, so I'm clicking it, start free trial. Yeah, I mean it's letting me do it.
Yeah. I wonder how long you have to be away in order to.
it's somewhere between 3 and 6 months, right?
Oh
At least.
no, 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 no.
No.
It's a 10-day free trial. The first 3 months is $63, and then after the first 3 months, it's $73.
Well, 10
Okay,
days is
10
fine.
days. Still
Yeah.
good.
But does it
Yeah.
start right away? Does it say anything about that?
No, yeah, it starts right away.
Oh, so it's 10 days.
Also, it says if you just want to watch football, they have just football for $300 a year.
Interesting. Do
That's
they have something for the sports that you follow?
Not on this promotional page. No, because Bally Sports has their own channel, and it's not on here. They took it off. That's why I canceled YouTube TV. Yeah, it's not listed as one of their channels. Man, you got me excited. When you're like 3 free months, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my brain. I read
eh,
it
when
incorrectly.
when I
Apologies.
go to YouTube to watch anything, the thing at the bottom comes up and says, "Do you want 30-day? Do you want YouTube? You can go for a trial of 30 days or something like this." And you say,
YouTube Premium, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
what it is, YouTube.
Okay.
Well, if you wanna watch the Spanish channels, it's only $35 a month. So,
And they did not complain, huh?
uh,
It's, nobody, no right group complained
compl
about it. What do you mean you're selling us cheap?
no. Well, there's only 34 channels on the Spanish plan, and the English plan has 124 channels. So there's significantly more. But I'm
Mm.
kinda interested in the Spanish one. I took Spanish when I was in school, and I keep telling myself I wanna learn more, and, I could watch Discovery Channel in Spanish. That
Yep.
sounds interesting. Like, okay, this is a little derailing a little bit, but, eh, that like, and you guys, English wasn't your first language. A lot of people that say that they learn English through TV. And
Mhm.
like my coworker is from Mexico, and he said that he learned English through watching TV. And I'm like, how do you guys do that? Because I'm like watching all this stuff in foreign languages, and it's like I'm not absorbing any of it.
You're not
Yeah,
watching
but
enough of it.
yeah, but TV, think about the only content, the only good content on TV would be in English. So it's not like he would the only thing that they would watch in their native language would probably, and that was the case in Israel, right? That would be news. Anything else, right, would be English, either dubbed or English with subtitles.
Subtitles,
And if you
Really?
get the dubbed content with subtitles, then it's immersive, right?
yeah.
Now, everybody that says that that's the way they learned,
Mm.
it's
It's a little bit of a
it's
stretch. Yeah.
inaccurate, right?
It
They did go
it
to school, they do teach English in the school, but because you are immersed in this, right? Then that's the boost. It's it's
Okay.
not just the hour, I don't know, 3 hours a week that you get,
no.
right? It's 3 hours, but then you're completely exposed to English all of the rest of the time.
I see.
So that would be the case for a lot of Israelis, and I can tell you that
A
that
lot of people.
English is terrible. It's like they cannot order, they can't even order coffee, right? It's not like, uh, but after you have that, and then you get immersed in America, right? Then yes, then you have something in the back of your head, in your back of your mind, that actually helps you out. So definitely. Uh, it's not just A from the Fonzie, right? It's not
Yeah,
just memes, we would call them today. It's
yeah.
not just that, right? It's more than that, because there's some stuff that does sip in. But it's definitely American TV definitely taught a lot of the world bad English for sure.
I I don't mean to derail the conversation with this learning languages, but there is a guy that I was following that is developing a video game with the whole goal to teach foreign languages, and it was really interesting, and I really hope he finishes it because it it's like you start the video game and it's fun and it's immersive, but it's in your language of choice, whatever. So in this case, like Spanish, and so it would show the words naturally, or whatever. And as you play the game, you like learn more, and it introduces more complex words and stuff. But it's like engaging your brain, and having it like figure out while you're trying to figure out how to play the game. And the people that have tested it have really liked it. And now I'm like, okay,
Awesome.
now release it, because I really want to play it. Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few educational games that have a very unique take on gaming. Um, one of the games I've seen in the past couple of years was an actual fantasy game, sort of role playing, sorcery, warrior stuff. But the mechanics were touch typing. So
Touch typing.
yeah, you would advance towards a challenge or a fight or whatever, and the way you fight is by typing the letters that are showing up, right? And you need to get proficient at typing without
Oh,
watching, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wait, was
So
this
yeah,
was this for learning a foreign language, or is it
no,
for
no, no.
learning how to type?
This was for learning how to type, for
Oh yeah.
example, right?
See, and I played those games too. Or well, they didn't really have games like that when I was learning how to type. But there was similar kind of like fun exercises that
Yeah.
we did for typing. And if they did that with foreign languages, oh, I love it. I want to do that so bad.
But maybe to tie into all everything that we talked about, so one of the most interesting learning a second language, learning an additional language projects out there is an open source video player where you choose a movie, usually a movie that you basically know. Some people have those movies, right, that
Yeah.
they know by heart, and play them either with foreign subtitles or play them dubbed and English subtitles, right?
Yeah.
And basically learning like a new language by immersion of
I
the
want to do
things
that.
that you know.
What
So yeah, I'll
what's
try to
that open
find
source? Yeah, find
the
it,
name
share
of
it.
it. Yeah. So that I remember seeing that and thinking that is a unique approach that actually works, that can work because of that experience that you described of, let's say, somebody grew up in Mexico and learning English through TV, right? So
Yeah.
something like that.
I was watching Sesame Street. So on Netflix, they have a good Spanish section. And so I was watching well, HBO had Sesame Street, so I was watching Spanish Sesame Street. But even that was like almost too complicated for me. And I was like, okay, what is a lower or an easier like baby's first books? Which is why I was
Yeah,
thinking of the video game, because the video game it like introduces like
right.
slowly
It
and then it
ramps
builds
up.
up. Yeah, yeah. So anybody out there that's making a video game for languages, you let me know. I will be your
I
test
mean,
player.
just start playing a game that you've basically invested hours and hours in, and just use Spanish.
I don't. I guess you go to the settings and change it. I don't know,
Usually that's the case. It's
because that's
haven't
just
you
this.
ever fallen into a game and it was accidentally in Chinese because you pressed something and you didn't know how to go
No,
back? Yeah.
no, because maybe I'm privileged and spoiled being in America, because all of the games that I've played or whatever, they're all in English and they're in. Well, I take that back because Pal World, that game that everybody's freaking out about, that looks like the Pokemon ripoff game, Pal World, super fun,
Okay.
but is made in Japan, and it's funny because every now and then, um, the text comes up as Japanese, and then it switches over to English, and the code in the background, I guess, is in Japanese, and then it has some other like post process that switches it in English. So every now and then it'll glitch, and I'll see the Japanese word, but that doesn't help me because it's super super foreign.
Yep.
But
Huh.
but yeah, maybe I'll go through and see if I can switch stuff to Spanish.
All right. Uh, you don't have a ring.
I do.
God, yours is not, right?
No, I use something else.
Users of Ring video doorbells have reacted angrily to a huge price hike being introduced in March. After buying the devices, customers can pay a subscription to store footage on the cloud, download clips, and get discounted products. That subscription is going up 43%, from $44 to $63 per device per year.
Wow.
And that, ladies
That's
and
for
gentlemen, is
basic
why I
plan.
do not use Ring.
Well,
That
What
is
do you
exactly
use?
what I expected it to happen. It took them 10 years. I don't know, but yeah, it's
they said that the firm, which is owned by Amazon, insisted it still provided some of the best value in the industry. Its customers appear not to agree. That's amazing to
Oh, what
go
do you
up
use?
that much.
I use right now something from a company called if you
Eufy,
Yufi, yeah.
Eufy, yeah, Eufy.
And the reason I do not even know is that I don't really care. All I
Yeah.
do is uh, what I buy is something that I can figure out how to patch in and eventually record on a hard drive,
Mhm.
right? By the way, I didn't have success with Yuffie, so Yuffie was just cheap enough, and I'll replace. Eventually, I'll replace it. But for now, it does what I need. What it does do, unlike Ring, everything is stored on the camera,
Mm.
right? So it's on the internal memory of the camera. So at least I have that. I have been semi-successful with transferring automatically recordings and stuff like that, but it's usually getting broken because it's not really supported. But eventually, I'll just replace it with something that actually works. I'm not willing to pay too much for it. It needs to be cheap enough. I'm a skip. I'm a cheapsteak when it comes to any technical solution. It needs to be open enough so if something dies along the way, the company, uh, uh, their main engineer, whatever, right? If somebody just stops, there'll always be somebody to pick it up afterward. Um, and yeah, and when something comes with subscription, I am I am suspicious as hell,
Mm.
and I just see how it's going to fail me eventually. So yeah, I think the proudest thing I am about what I have tech wise right now. I mean, the computer I'm using right now is a computer I bought in 2016. Right,
Yeah.
I paid a lot in 2016, but this has been returning its value right over and over and over for years now. And I am nowhere near the point where I need to replace this. This is hardware I own, stuff that I run on it. I've upgraded it a bit from time to time, like better storage or more memory. But the idea is I I don't pay a monthly dividend on somebody that can decide, right? Suddenly, no, you're not paying enough. And that rubs me the wrong way. So I just hope it'll the more consumers will be like that. But most consumers are more concerned about comfort, and the companies they know that. And when they get their hooks on you, I mean, the reason I use Plex today, right? Because they are subscription based, but they also sell a lifetime subscription. I was willing to shell out, unlike Amnon that I told them wait for a sale, right?
Yeah.
I paid the full price back then, $120 it was. After that, they hiked up. So it's like, yeah, I see the value, but as long as I own the license, I'll do that. Um, I won't pay the subscription. It just doesn't make any sense because the subscription will never stay at the same price. Show me one subscription that always stays the
Well,
same. It doesn't happen, right? So predictability is a lot better for me. And I just hope, more people will be like that.
Yeah, a
when
lot of people pay for the convenience though.
when there are more options, more people become like that.
Yep.
And for most people, there are not that many more options. The options that you have are a lot more, Gal, because you can do a lot more with the other options and tailor them to work the right way.
I,
Most people
I
don't.
totally agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
totally
fine.
agree. But let's take Plex, right? The reason we go back to that is they're the one situation, right, where their solution was actually not targeted people like me,
Yeah, right.
right? Their solution was targeted at every everyday schmo, right?
Yep.
It's like everybody has video files on their computer. It doesn't matter if they're of movies that they've downloaded or their home videos that they took with their phone, right? And they found a a phenomenally simple system, right? That gives almost anybody access anywhere to that content, right? And have you control it. And it's not complex. All you need to just point it at where the files are. If you want to run a server that runs 24/7, yeah, then you need to start thinking about the solution more, right? But again, it's not super technical, not really. Like you can go with a cheap Windows machine that you know how to operate and double click an application and it'll still work. So that type of solution, oh yeah, I mean, I was happy to pay that money, right?
Yeah.
Um, and as long as they figure out how to sustain long term without affecting my abilities, yes, for sure. Like, all power to them.
More power to them. How?
Yep.
All right. LastPass. They're warning that a fake copy of its app is being distributed on the Apple App Store, likely
Full
used
App
as a
Store.
phishing app to steal users' credentials. And it's on the App Store.
Yeah.
Not on.
This time it's not an Android.
All
It's not,
right.
oh,
Yeah.
those lame. They do not do anything.
The
Oh,
fake
come on,
app
man.
uses a similar name to the genuine app, a similar icon, and a red themed interface made to appear close to the brand's authentic design. However, the fake app's name is LastPass. There's no T, it's LASS instead of LastPass. And it
It only
has,
gives password to lasses.
yeah, you can make your password less. And it has a publisher of Parvati Patel. In addition, there's only a single rating. The real app has over 52,000, with only 4 reviews that warn about it being fake. And I don't understand. If it has warning there that it is fake and all that, what is what does Apple do there in the App Store that they can flag it? Where Apple, where are you protecting your customers from bad apps?
But that's the thing, right? It is LastPass's problem to deal with brand infringement,
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
But
the cycle, I think it's just the cycle is longer, right? Than the I don't know. I don't even know if it's a journalist. It can be just a blog post, right? That, hey, be aware, right?
yeah, no, you
I mean,
should be aware.
we've seen stuff like this happen elsewhere. I'm not sure that in app that we've seen a lot of it in Apple, but I do think that that exists there as well. It just probably the cycle takes a bit longer. And LastPass being a security centric app, you want to make sure nobody downloads the app and just types in their credentials there,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because that means they've yeah. And even if you did it and accidentally just type your LastPass credentials, the first thing you need to do, go to your LastPass, and yes, you will need to change your master password because you've put yourself at risk.
Mhm.
The most important password you were using in compromised. It's as simple as that. Just understand the implication, and that
Yep.
can happen. I think this happened. You see it on open source projects that do password management, like KeyPass, right? It's like
Yeah,
every single one
that's
will
right.
say, make sure you download this from this and this location, and but yeah, definitely something that needs to be taken into consideration always,
Absolutely.
always. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Besides, people use Bitwarden. Forget LastPass.
I mean, I can see a situation where this is what should happen. LastPass would give Apple or the App Store a, what do you call it? Like, not the signature. What do you call it when you have
Power of attorney.
no, 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 no. Like a picture of the app. It's not a picture. It's like the
They're like
some
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. Like an authentic
yeah,
something that says
authentic.
this is
Yeah,
authentic. Yeah,
right.
stamp of
And
authentication,
right.
sort of.
So and then when they run their AI and that's all they do. There's no person that sits there and doing this.
Exactly.
Oh, this is not it. Boom, take it out. I mean, this can happen. It just look. YouTube is
Yeah, but
doing
Amnon,
it.
you're missing something. You're missing here something.
Yeah,
You know how much Apple will lose by that?
yeah, I know.
Right now, that
Yeah,
money is coming in free
yeah, true.
because the scammer, that is true that he is scamming people, but he's paying
He's
Apple,
paying Apple.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure,
So
sure.
it'll take some time. The lawyers will do their thing. It's just a cycle, right?
Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, and now in that cycle, we actually gave LastPass free publicity also on top of everything.
and
So it's a
and
win-win for them. The fact that a few people got hurt, who cares, right?
the people that got hurt
Sorry, I'm
care.
sorry, I'm this cynic, but
Yeah,
that's the reality. It's like,
but we don't recommend LastPass.
no,
We
no,
recommend
they had too many breaches. They
yeah,
are too large at this point to be a small secure option,
right,
right? With security, sometimes obscurity is part of it,
right,
right?
absolutely,
Uh, but definitely don't be on the biggest attack vector ever,
right.
right? I mean, if you go back to beginning of 2000s, right? The number one recommendation of uh, savvy people would be use Mac, don't use Windows, right?
Right.
Because Windows was really exposed. It was the biggest attack vector. It will be everywhere, ubiquitous, and the Apple world will not be that interesting, right? To malware writers, because the systems are different, a lot close. They're a lot closer, right, and less open, and the opportunities would be a lot less. Today, you look at that, it's no longer the case. They are both as unsafe or safe, pretty much the same, right?
Mhm.
So there are tools over here, there are tools over there for protection and malware detection and all that. So it's no longer the case. So yeah, I mean, um,
And you recommend Bitwarden.
I recommend Bitwarden. Bitwarden is still, I think, the most interesting contender out there. It is mature. It is, even if you're using their hosted server, right? Um, and you're paying the subscription for them, which I would say learn how to run your own server. It's there's some complexity there, but the benefits are huge. Uh, but even if you're using the reason choosing them would be the most the saner choice is because it's an open source project, right? Then just downloading a backup means something. You will not need to pay anybody to restore this, right? Let's say you want to switch to a different hoster.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I'm hosting my password vault. There's I think Nick's Vault is still hosted on my server, and I keep things updated. I am in charge of it. Yes, it's my responsibility. But if I didn't want that responsibility and I wanted to pay somebody, then I could pay Bitwarden. Uh, they are definitely a bigger attack vector than me, right? Than my home server.
Sure.
Uh, but they're still not LastPass or One Password or any of those, right? And those definitely had breaches. Uh, and eventually Bitwarden's hosted server will probably report a breach one day, right? Um, but because me as a user, as a technical user, I get tools even on the hosted server to control the security of defaults, it makes a lot more sense to use something like that, something that is fully exposed to me as a user, and I can make modifications and I can make it, I can control how it actually works. That's why I always advocate tools like that. Yeah, I swear by Bitwarden because it contains my life secrets, right? Is it risky compared to um, compared to managing an Excel sheet? No. Compared to, uh, a safer choice would be something like KeyPass, but that's local. And then if you want to deal with synchronization, then you're either exposing yourself in one way, right? Uh, Using something like Google to sync your data, uh, or you are there's a complexity step that has to do with the synchronization that you need to think of separately. And with something like Bitwarden, because it is server based always, even if you run whether you're running the server or not, it can hook up to all of the rest of the systems like browsers and mobile devices very easily. So yeah, I will keep on advocating for stuff like that.
Yep. Because it works.
Yeah, works excellently.
Yep.
I haven't got Amnon to switch though, so
Not yet.
yeah.
All right. What's the name of Google's AI assistant?
Bard.
No, it's not.
Okay, Google.
No, it's not.
Oh, Google Assistant. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
What is the name of it?
the
It's not
name?
Bard.
No. Bard is the AI.
Yeah. The AI assistant.
Oh, I don't know. You're talking about the engine, the Gemini?
Yeah, that's Google has renamed its AI assistant to Gemini
I see.
and unveiled a paid subscription tier offering. $19.99 a month. Gemini Advanced includes a more powerful AI model and cloud storage integration, targeting users seeking advanced content creation and complex query resolution. Google is also leveraging its Android user base by making Gemini the default digital assistant, aiming to replicate the success of its billion user product. So Bard was renamed, I guess.
What was the
Um,
new name again?
Gemini.
Gemini.
well, it's not the new name. It's the name of the engine.
Yeah,
They
right.
made it. Yeah. Well, I mean,
But now
Google
they use it as a marketing now.
historically, Google, right, have always missed the mark on branding. They
Uh,
have how, how many instant messaging technologies have we used by Google? Right? Google Talk becoming Google One, becoming Hangouts, becoming what's it now?
Teams?
N-
No.
now, no, not Teams.
Meet? No, it's not.
Yeah, the video conferencing one, Meet, Google
Meet.
Meet,
Yeah.
right? And they have in parallel they have Google Messages, and Android. It used to be Android Messages, and now and on top of that they always had Google Voice. So
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they do not understand branding. That's for sure.
Too bad.
That's what happens when a company
Definitely.
gets huge, though.
Uh, and OpenAI is working on a type of agent software to automate complex tasks by taking over a user's device. The agent software will handle web-based tasks such as gathering public data about a set of companies, creating itineraries, or booking flight tickets, according to the report. It opens a new tab also. The new assistants, often called agents, promise to perform more complex personal and work tasks when commanded by a human without needing close supervision. famous last words
Yeah.
without needing close supervision.
I'm telling you, man. I was joking. I'm gonna welcome our AI overlords in the next couple years. You know what I really want? I want one of those spot dogs or whatever, that Boston Dynamic dogs that they made. But I think right now it's programmed to do like you have to program it like hardcore to get it to do what you want. But I would love it if it was driven by AI and then I could have a dog or a pet that I didn't have to take out to go poop. It just have to go and I wouldn't have to buy food for it or anything. I just, give it its corner where there's a plug so it can plug itself in.
Yeah.
And
So
it,
we talked about the Apple Vision. What is it?
yeah, I don't know what it's called. The Apple VR headset.
Vision Pro.
Yeah.
So listen to this. William Strauss, like many others, saw the videos in recent days of people behind the wheel of a Tesla in autopilot mode, sporting their new Apple Vision Pro headsets and typing on an invisible keyboard. They're all over the internet. These idiots driving Teslas with their hands up in the air. He's a state representative. He said, some claimed their video was staged.
Yeah.
No matter. Strauss wants to make it illegal. The Legislature Transportation Committee on Wednesday, that's in Massachusetts, uh, approved language that would ban the use of the new virtual reality headset or other similar technologies while behind the wheel in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
And last night we were talking about it. I mean,
Yeah.
can 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 you sit in a car driving it and the kids are in the back seat, or you're I mean, any responsible driver, and not look at the road and be ready for surprises?
I mean, there's a lot of dumb people in this world. I will say that I've seen a lot of the videos that he's talking
Yeah.
about people, but none of the cars are moving. Like it's definitely looks like it's staged where the person is getting out of the car with the headset on, but that doesn't mean that people aren't doing it or this is like putting in a law for the future. So maybe people aren't doing it now, but if somebody does it in the future, now they have it in the law that they could get a ticket or whatever. So
Yeah.
they're setting up for um, future issues that they're gonna have. But I know people would do it. If there's a will, there's a way. If any questions that you have out there about would somebody do this? Yes, somebody would do it. Would the majority do it? Probably not. But somebody will do it. And it
Eh,
only takes one person to do it to cause a huge accident and
yeah.
all this crazy stuff. But I have seen the videos and all of the ones that I've seen where people have gotten in trouble for wearing the headsets, they haven't been driving a car. And so the cars have been stopped and they get out of the car. But that doesn't mean
Well,
people aren't doing it. It's just
yeah.
but I have seen videos and again, I don't know how accurate it is of because everything looks so staged that people are walking around and they're walking in busy streets and stuff with the headsets on and I
Mhm.
don't know how real that is either. But it
Right.
it's the price point for those things is ridiculous too. $3,500. So, I mean,
It's
you're
not for the casual user.
no, no, and you're
Yeah.
right. People that own a Tesla probably are gonna buy because a Tesla also isn't for casual car owners either.
Well, the Tesla S there is a model that is definitely, I wouldn't say completely casual. It's still high end on the price range, but it's the equivalent, I don't know, of an Acura or a Lexus in price, right?
Well, yeah, but even
So
those are still considered luxury cards. Like those are considered if you have some extra money, you can spend it on there instead of buying like a Kia or a Toyota or whatever.
yeah, so
It's
you
a luxury
definitely,
item.
it's definitely a premium a premium
Expense.
range one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. You need to have the money to actually do that, and if all you need are four wheels that will take you from point A to point B, you're definitely not buying a Tesla. Not now, but uh, this right now, this is Apple's attempt at what Google failed with Google Glass, basically,
Mm.
right? This is it's just a new revamped on the solar winds of the Oculus fad, uh, and this is an attempt, but I I do not think this is Apple unveiling the iPhone or the iPad.
No.
Right? It feels like they might have missed the mark. I mean, I've never trusted the company, but they don't need me, right, to say whether they're going to succeed or not. They've been successful without my support for years. Um, I just yeah, this is one thing. The I get the benefits, I get the possibilities, but this is also the first time that I've seen Apple trying to be a leader of change, I would call it. Apple usually, when they went to market, they provided the polished premium solution, right? That was the iPad, that the iPod, the and later the iPhone. It was this. Okay, everybody else is trying to do this, right? We finally figured out how to do it right, and the innovation that they brought in was how do we interconnect these ideas and make them actually work for the user. Now, whether they've done it this time, I don't know. It literally feels like uh, they might have missed the mark on this because they are. I think in the way they're presenting it also is they're saying we're trying this out, right? Let's see what the world is going to do with it, and that was never their approach. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think VR right now is almost not for me for the headsets because I wear glasses and when I put them on, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. You can get this extender to put on it." It's still not comfortable. And there and some things are like, "Oh, well you don't need
Yeah.
glasses to see this." I'm like, "Yes, I do." Like I when I put
Well,
on
but
the VR, I still can't see.
yeah, to be fair, I mean the people are talking about working like a working environment inside the headset, right? So projected on the real world. So they're talking about resolution wise. They're talking about actually typing text and stuff like that. I can tell you on the Oculus, the resolution wasn't enough. I tried it. The possibility, the potential was amazing. Working in a virtual environment like that is amazing because then I'm not. I mean, I've raved about how I'm using a large screen over here, right, to do my work. uh, there I can use a virtual screen that is 5 times this size, but I can't I can't really do anything unless it's this close because otherwise I can't distinguish
Exactly. That's
right
why I
text.
like this. I like the direction they're going because
Yeah,
they're getting better technology. But for me personally, I'm gonna have to wait until something that's less intrusive on the face. Uh, because it's just so uncomfortable to wear with somebody with glasses. I'm like, oh, well, wear contacts or whatever. I'm like, nah, I want to wear my glasses.
and in a way, uh, Apple has never been successful in starting with the business market, and that's basically what they're doing right now, especially by pricing it that high. So um, I don't know. I mean, if they succeed, it'll be interesting. But it feels like this one is another. It's going to be a failed attempt.
Yeah,
This is Apple coming out with the not with the iPod, but with the Newton. This is
yeah.
uh, yeah, it's a bit too soon.
They're probably recouping their losses. They spent billions of dollars on it, and they're like, okay, let's just release it. We'll make a little bit of money back, and we'll move on. That's what a lot of businesses like. Because a couple years ago, it was all about VR, 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 VR. They spent billions of dollars on VR, then that crashed, and AI came out, and now they're switching gears to AI, AI, AI.
Yeah, it'll be another ride. But yeah, it still feels like a toy. Even though it's a $3,500
That's it.
dollars
Yeah,
toy,
that's
it
exactly
still
what it
feels like
feels
a
like.
toy.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it feels like, a toy. Yep. An adult uh expense.
Uh-huh.
So Amnon, when are you buying each of us one test?
Tomorrow.
Oh, and don't forget, you'll need to buy each of us not only one to test, but a MacBook to connect to it because it probably doesn't connect to anything else.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I would get the new Oculus. I like my Oculus. Granted, like I said before, I can't wear it for a long time because it just kills my face. But I want to get the third one
Uh,
eventually.
okay, now
What's the
here.
price point on it?
I don't know. It's probably around the same price, $350. But I've seen a lot of videos of people like playing the piano, and uh they have the piano in front of them like it's an actual keyboard, and then the notes show up virtually on what notes you want to hit. And I really want to do that. That looks a lot of fun.
$500.
Okay. Yeah. So
But talking
but
about the
go ahead.
Apple one. Apple managed to do two things. Well, at least two things here. They also manage to bring a lot of people into the Apple Store, and they are guaranteeing walk-ins. Apple Vision
Walking?
Pro owners who forget the passcodes they set will need to take the device to an Apple retail location to get it reset. That's coming from Bloomberg. There is apparently no on device way to reset a Vision Pro passcode if it's forgotten. So you're going to see a lot of people coming into the store with the Vision Pro in their hand. And I mean, but it's traffic, it's foot traffic. I'll be damned.
Yeah, somehow I never understand why these stores are always full, right?
Problems, not shoppers.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just amazing. And the other thing about Apple and that stuff, where is it? Which is interesting situation. I don't use them, so I don't know. Maybe you. The Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple devices apps that Apple has been testing for Windows machines have officially launched, ending a long preview period and bringing an end to the iTunes app on some computers. The Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Devices app are part of Apple's effort to split iTunes on PC into multiple platforms to mirror how these apps work on Macs. So on Windows 10 and later, PC customers can download the three separate apps to manage devices and access Apple Music and Apple TV content. Microsoft first announced plans for Apple Music and Apple TV apps for the Microsoft Store back in October 2022. So the split from iTunes has been in the works for more than a year.
That
Uh,
you know
what?
why?
No, I don't. I don't understand what's the big deal
It's
here.
because Apple software developers do not know how to develop outside of the Apple ecosystem. That is literally the reason. The iTunes software package on PC, on Windows, it is probably one of the worst applications you can install on a
I
PC.
know.
Yeah, it's terrible. It it brings the computer, even these behemoth of computers that they come up today with the i7 14 generation and all that, right? It everything crawls to a halt. It's ridiculous. Uh and it's yeah, it's I'm guessing that's the main problem there. It's
Well,
good that they are re-engineering these software packages, and it never made sense to me that this needs to be like one thing. If all I want to do is just back up my phone, why do I need a system to buy music, right? It's always shoved down your throat. So yeah.
I always
I,
struggled with adding another show to Apple Podcasts. Just to add another one. Give me a break. I mean, why do I have to go through so many steps just to get to the point where I can type what it is?
well, it's your fault though.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
of
would
course
have
it's
done it
my
on
fault.
Mac, it would be a click.
Yeah. Well, amazing. All
Yeah,
right.
terrible.
Now, listen to this. After almost a year as an invite only app, Blue Sky is now open to the public. You know what Blue
Blue
Sky is?
Sky? No.
No.
Isn't that the Twitter?
Yep.
Other Twitter?
Yeah. Funded by
Oh,
Twitter
okay.
co founder Jack Dorsey, Blue Sky is one of the more promising microblogging platforms that could provide an alternative to Elon Musk's X. Before opening to the public, the platform had about 3 million signups. Now that anyone can join, the young platform faces a challenge. How can it meaningfully stand up to Threads, 130 million monthly active users, or even Mastodon,
Huh?
1.8 million?
How many? 100 and what?
That's
130, they said it's
Nobody's
100.
active on
no,
Threads. That's a
no.
lie.
Threads died. Like
Threads
it
No,
was
doesn't
a
no,
exist.
it came back. It came
No,
no,
back.
no.
no.
It's being shoved. I mean, I'm
Well,
not saying
yes,
people are not
it
using
doesn't
it.
matter.
Nobody's writing anything on Threads and publishing it. They might be writing it on either Facebook or
Oh,
something and say, yeah,
okay.
sure, Threads as well.
Well,
Nobody's doing that. Come on.
well,
Okay,
also
well,
too, Threads when it first came out, 30 million people signed up right away. I bet you it has less than 10 million users right now. I
well,
mean, it
Yeah.
just died.
It doesn't matter how you. I'm with Katie here. The number is a lie.
Yeah.
Like
okay. I don't
nobody,
use it,
maybe
so
there's a lot of bots doing like automated responses, but like people, no way.
it's the marketing of Meta that
Yeah.
is putting the words. But it's I think it's going to do fine just because it's an alternative
Well, we'll
and
see. I
people
mean,
will
I'll
jump on
definitely
it.
register, so I'll have a good username. But
Huh?
other than that, I'm not really going to use it
Right.
at first.
Right.
So
Yeah. But that's in
I've
there,
got a
Blue
Blue Sky
Sky.
account.
You do?
Yeah, yeah. My friend,
So you had an
has
invite at one point?
yeah, yeah. Well, my friend got into it and he sent me an invite and
Oh,
I I don't really use it. I never had success on Twitter and uh Blue Sky's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It basically is just a Twitter copy. Granted, I'm maybe not the best person to talk about it because I didn't use it that extensively, but I've been
I wonder.
focusing on other social media stuff.
okay.
I wonder what's the difference in philosophy here. Like what is this? Why is this going to be different? Right.
It's
I
not.
think
That's going to be
It's
interesting.
yeah, we'll see if they're staying true. My impression of it is they were getting away from the corporate mumbo jumbo that Twitter turned into, and they're going back to stripping down to what people originally joined Twitter for, like to connect with audience members and to have discussions instead of it being
right to tell
bombarded with,
people when they go to the bathroom, to tell people when they eat
yeah,
an egg.
hey, whatever people want to talk about.
That's how it used to be in the beginning, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
when people were trying to figure out what
Yeah,
this looks like.
yeah.
But yeah,
it's doing social media is so exhausting, and like I have accounts on a lot of these things, but it doesn't mean I use them. And
right.
uh, I don't the one I use, the only one I have my brain geared towards right now is TikTok, and it's because it's helping me generate money. So it's just like I don't have the brain this is why people get paid to manage social media accounts. Like there's full-time positions that people get paid to do this because it is exhausting. And it's not just as easy as like scrolling through your Facebook wall, and like you have to plan about if you're running a business or if you're trying to do something, it's like you have to think about all the stuff and plan for this and that. It's ugh, it's a lot.
Well,
That's all
it's
right.
because remember, social media started as a sort of personal representation at first, right? And then corporate stepped in, and that changed. So yeah, um, will it will it be the same? That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Time will tell.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Back to Earth. Most people know that Microsoft really wants everyone to move into Windows 11. But just in case there are some Windows 10 users still unaware of the fact, the company is once again nagging them to upgrade with full screen, multi slide pop ups, and such. The lengthy advertisement for Windows 11 was highlighted by Windows' latest after it installed the optional January update on Windows 10 machines. The nagging Windows 11 upgrade promo consists of an excruciating number of screens. The first
What?
informs user that they can switch to Windows 11 for free and that they can still use their PC while the newer OS is set up in the background. Another is Microsoft recommending the move and noting that users can revert to Windows 10 within the first 10 days of upgrading and, of course, getting more nags. The last is for those who decide to stay on Windows 10 with a reminder that Windows 11 remains a free upgrade option. Nobody here mentions, I mean, what would happen when somebody's saying, yeah, okay, I'll try it. And then they see the thing about TPM and it's not working and they don't know what is going on. Confuse people, Microsoft. Yeah, confuse them.
But do they even push the messages on machines that cannot be upgraded?
I don't. I have no idea. I'm.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. I did not install the January one. Wait a second. Yes, I did, and I'm not getting it. So maybe that's why. Maybe you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the article should have said that they are doing it to upgradable machines. Very good point. Very, very good.
Every now and then, Gal has
No, God
little
Well,
nuggets
always.
of wisdom.
once in a while. Amnon, you're not thinking like a computer.
I know I'm not. I'm not a computer.
You're not nerd enough.
Mozilla has rolled out a new $9 a month service called Mozilla Monitor Plus that automatically scrubs personal information from over 190 data broker sites. The tool builds on the free Firefox Monitor platform, expanding monitoring capabilities and proactively removing exposed details to protect user privacy. Subscribers will also receive data breach alerts under the new service.
Sounds, I'm sorry, Mozilla, but because I love them, right? But this sounds like a scam. It sounds like those websites where you search for your personal info
Mm.
and they say, pay us and we'll protect it and etc. Or
Uh-huh.
access your personal report and all you get is just a bunch of crap. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I understand the need. This is a type of subscription, right? That the alternative is get educated, understand what you're doing online, and don't be an idiot. Uh,
Which is a good thing for anybody to do.
yeah, exactly, and anybody needs that as well.
Yep.
So the fact that you're paying even a trusted company like Mozilla, at least up until now, right,
Yeah.
um, to do it doesn't mean you can continue and be an idiot
Mm-hmm.
online,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep. Okay. Now talking about idiots. The Hong Kong branch of a multinational company has lost $25.6 million after a scammer used deepfake technology to pose as the firm's chief financial officer in a video conference call and ordered money transfers, according to the police, in what's being highlighted as first of its kind case in the city. The transaction was ordered during a meeting where it was found that everyone present on the video call, except the victim, were deep fakes or of real people.
Mm, my gosh.
yeah, that is a
That's what the
highly
police,
targeted
yeah,
attack, though.
highly targeted.
I can tell you. So, company of a friend, right?
Yeah.
Uh, got a highly targeted, not deep fake like that, but got a highly targeted attack where, and I think it was based on LinkedIn metadata and stuff like that, where you see who is in the company, right?
Hmm.
So they figure out what your phone number is, and they send an employee an SMS, right? Asking, saying, "I just sent you an email. Make sure
Yeah,
you
that's
do what's
yeah,
written there,
that's
right?" And then the email is supposed to look from the CEO, and they're asking for
right.
and those stuff we heard about and that existed.
Yeah,
Now you add deep fake on top of it, yeah, people
yeah,
will fall for it. Yeah,
absolutely.
unless there was some clear uh, let's call it a protocol, right? If I call to tell you something, right, then you disconnect and you call
Call
me,
me.
right? And
Yep.
that's the easiest thing today, right? Yes, a highly targeted attack, like a very, very technical targeted attack, will find a way to reroute those calls, but that is really hard to do.
Hmm.
That needs to be, that's like Hollywood stuff, right? NSA stuff. So that is a lot harder to do, intercepting an outgoing call from
Yeah.
you if you have not been breached. So yeah, always check.
Yeah, we
Always.
had we had a bunch of customers that would call me like in the morning and said, "Hey, Amnon, people here in the office got an email from the head attorney, the owner, and telling them to do something, and he says he never did." And that's when I asked Ron to do something about adding that external message to the
Yeah,
subject.
the notice. Yeah.
Yeah, the notice. So at least you know, okay, well, if it's external, that means it came from outside. People don't know how to look at the headers to figure that out. It's too bad. But at least,
But
you
it
know,
it's becoming more like how they're on cigarette packets, there's the
yeah, the
attorney
cancer
general,
thing. Yeah.
like, so now it's that, then it'll be another line that says the person isn't verified, and then it'll be that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I train me how to look at it, right? but stop making things
Yeah,
ugly all
uh-huh.
the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said it many times. There is a way to stop all these things, but all the main email providers need to get together on it. You can't do it just one. Eh, at least the beginning of the year they started something about now requiring having SPF and DKIM and DMARC, and a lot of the customers that had they have their email service somewhere else, but we're hosting just their website, calling me to ask, and I said, "Well, you're going to have to ask the email provider. Well, can you do this?" I said, "We've been doing it all along. I mean, yeah." And a few of those customers actually transferred their email back to letting us because they can't get a hold of anybody on the other side of the other one. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, Reddit is not required to share the IP address of 6 users who made piracy related comments on the website. Early last year, the film companies subpoenaed Reddit for the first time, requesting the personal details of several users. Reddit refused to cooperate, defending their users' right to anonymous speech. And a California federal court agreed. In a second attempt a few weeks later, several film companies sent a similar subpoena to Reddit. This time, the request was more targeted as all comments specifically referred to the ISP being sued, Grande, Grande Communications. Reddit still refused to comply, however, stressing that uh, to comply, however, stressing that its users' First Amendment rights would still be at stake. After hearing both parties, Magistrate Judge Laurel B. Beeler sided with Reddit once again.
Wait, what people were saying things about a company on Reddit and the company didn't like it, so they tried to get it taken down? Is that what
Well,
happened?
yeah, they were saying that those people were talking about piracy. So
So,
So
here
yeah.
how
we
to
mentioned the
pirate
word
things?
piracy
Yeah.
here, and we talk about piracy and all that. But I mean,
Yeah, but we do not talk about like I don't give you instructions
yes,
of
no, no,
go there,
I
download
understand.
that, right?
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
Well, I will say that subreddits have been shut down that were piracy subreddits, or they were subreddits that people were discussing piracy, not that it was all about piracy.
Well,
And so
shutting down and blocking a user, that's different than identifying them.
yeah. So, well, I'm just want to throw it out there that it's not that you could say whatever you want on Reddit and get away with it. They do have what is it called, TOS or whatever. And
Yeah.
a lot of the subreddits, if they're content subreddits, they usually say it in their rules of the subreddit that you're only allowed to post official links, like you can't post pirated or outside links.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with them.
Yeah, it's not a free for all, but anonymity I mean anonymity is ingrained in internet culture, right?
Yeah,
And you take away the the possibility of staying anonymous, uh, then there's a problem, right? I mean, we do look at more authoritarian countries like China, right? And we see the way they treat the internet compared to how the US treats the internet. And yeah, we do not want to change that. We do not want to make become that type of place. So yeah, kudos for the judge. I hope it'll remain that way. Uh, Good for Reddit to actually uh, doing the fight. And maybe they'll get back some of the users that stopped using them, right?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's something. Android users in Singapore will be blocked from installing apps from unverified sources, a process called sideloading. as part of a new trial by Google to crack down on malware scams. The security tool will work in the background to detect apps that demand suspicious permissions, like those that grant the ability to spy on screen content or read SMS messages, which scammers have been known to abuse to intercept one time passwords. Singapore is the first country to begin the gradual rollout of the security feature over the next few weeks, done in collaboration with the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore, according to a statement on February 7th by Google. So they're doing what Apple is still doing, not allowing you to sideload, right?
Yeah, but that's yeah. And they're being slapped around, right? At
Mhm.
least here in the US about it.
Yeah.
I wonder though, one thing that wasn't mentioned is one of the things that happens when you buy a Samsung, for example, right?
Yeah.
Is Samsung is pushing their app store as well on the Android device, right?
Okay.
So I wonder if they're using that excuse of, yeah, you want to make an alternative source, no problem, we can sign you and then you can run your own app store, right? That always existed. Nobody's really using, I don't think nobody's really, maybe in Korea, nobody's really using Samsung's app store, but it does exist on Android, right? So wonder if they're not risking whatever their dealings here just by that
Yeah.
idea,
I, I don't
by
know.
the fact that they do allow alternative ones. They just need to be trusted ones,
Yeah.
like in advance, signed by some source that is agreeable. Yeah, interesting.
And being where we are in the triangle, uh, network giant Cisco is planning to restructure its business, which will include laying off thousands of employees as
Wow.
it seeks to focus on high growth areas. This is according to three sources familiar with the matter. The San Jose, California based company has a total employee count of 84,900 as of fiscal 2023, according to its website. The company is still deciding on total number of employees to be affected by the layoffs. That's Cisco and IBM used to be the companies here in the triangle. That's
Hmm.
where almost everybody was working with, and there's still a lot of people working for that company.
What I missed it. Why are they doing the layoffs?
They want to focus on high growth area. I
Oh,
mean,
you know what that means? It
uh,
means they invested and hired all these people for this product that they're working on, and the product isn't working out, so they're
apparently.
shifting gears, and so they're
Yep,
laying off the departments that ran those
very possible.
products.
Yep,
That's exactly what happened.
yep.
I bet you it was VR, 100%, because I'm telling you, I worked for a giant tech
Cisco.
company. Listen, I worked for the giant tech company, and all they were pouring millions and millions of dollars into VR, and then literally within like 6 months, it was cut off, and then everybody got laid off.
We'll see what happens with them, but it's a shame. That's a lot of people that probably have a job and are going to be out there looking for a job.
Go work for Epic.
Uh,
Epic will be hiring.
and listen to this. Be vigilant when you're shopping. Amazon has been sued in a proposed U.S. class action that accuses the online retailer of violating consumer protection law by steering shoppers to higher priced items to earn extra fees. Filed this week in the Seattle federal court, the company cites the recent FTC antitrust case against Amazon. It alleges Amazon's algorithm for its buy box often shows higher priced options over faster, cheaper alternatives. And the suit says shoppers click Amazon buy now buttons nearly 98% of the time, falsely believing its choices after the best deal, offered the best deal.
I never understood the buy one button.
Well,
It's like, yeah, trust me.
right. Yeah.
Also, too, I'm curious how they're gonna distinguish. So, I've I've had a product on Amazon, and uh, you pay Amazon to get your product in front of more eyeballs, and it's based on a bid system. So, how that what that means is that uh, if you're competing with other people for with other what is it called? I don't know, manufacturers that have sales shops, whatever, to see the product. If you say that you'll pay 50 cents of you, well, if another company pays 60 cents of you, then their product is going to get in front of the person first.
Yeah,
And
but why would the person buy something that costs more?
well, but here's the thing though. I'm what I'm saying is that they might not know there's a cheaper product
Okay.
because the seller isn't paying more money for the advertising. So that's the thing. I don't It might not be that Amazon's pushing a more expensive product on purpose. Maybe they are, but I don't know. But it could also be that the seller is paying a lot more money to get their product in front of people because that's how Amazon also makes its money
Yeah,
from the sellers
right.
is paid advertised space essentially. So I don't think it's as cut and dry as
Well, the rest of the article says that Amazon created the algorithm to benefit third party sellers that pay hefty fees
yep.
for its fulfillment by Amazon services. Yeah,
Mm,
that's what you're talking about.
yeah.
But that's
So
still, I mean, I'll be damned if I'm going to go and you see Amazon choice on something. What? You're not going to just buy it. No, keep going,
yeah,
keep
well that
looking.
comes so everything you see on Amazon has a bias filter through it, whether it's the third party seller that paid to get it in front of your eyes, or
Yeah,
it's Amazon that has a partnership with another company, or it's the fulfillment subscription, or whatever. And so it comes down to the user to see the product, and it's not that
right.
hard. You just scroll down and look at the
Yep.
other products, and Amazon makes it pretty easy to compare. It's just again, people want to pay for convenience,
The
and if
one
it
the one thing that eBay has that I cannot find on Amazon that probably don't have it is sort by price. Highest first or lowest first.
Amazon has that. My biggest gripe with it though is that when I do that, I see a bunch of stuff I don't want to see. For example, I'm looking for a 3D printed filament. I have exactly typed what I want. I want PLA, this weight, and this color. Exactly those three things. And when I type it in Amazon, it pops up. Now, if I sort it by lowest price, it's going to show me everything I don't want to see. It's going to be a different plastic type, it's going to be a different color, and it's going to be a different weight. And I
And
can't
it's
even use
going
it.
to include stuff that isn't in the order of the pricing. That's the problem, though.
Yeah, it's like they're literally showing
Well,
you the
they're
cheapest thing, but it's not relevant to what I want.
that's
So
because
it
their
makes it
search
useless.
that's because their search is worthless.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
somebody
Well, what I'm saying
explained
is
it.
they have it, but
Yeah.
it's just hot garbage.
But why don't well, I mean, I try to find it. Why don't I see it?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it's in. I know I filtered by lowest
Okay.
price, but
All
then
right.
I end up not even doing that because, like I said, I see
Yeah.
things that is not relevant. Like technically, it's for a 3D printer, but it's like BS, complete BS. I can't use it.
Yeah, I if I need price information, then I use the price range, giving it a minimum and a
Yeah.
maximum of something that will make sense. And this way, I filter out the stuff that is, $5, $7, that are usually just attachments or accessories. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And this has been something that they couldn't, they can't really figure out, or they won't figure out, uh, because of exactly that what the lawsuit is talking about. So let's say you do have you're looking for something that is around $100, right? And you're filtering for stuff between 50 and $100, and you get results on the front page that show you, right? They're showing you a $300 product. The reason they're showing that $300 product is because if you go inside that product page, first of all, one of the options that the styling might be set at 100. So even if I'm looking for, I don't know, a NAS with 4 bays, right? Uh, the price is for the page of the item, and if there's an item style for it at $100, which is a 2 bay, let's say, compared to the 4 bay, it includes that in the results, right? So that's problem number one. They're not actually filtering enough as you're asking it. And the other thing is, maybe that product is sold as a used one, right, for $100.
Yep.
And that'll come up as well. But the front page will say 300. So all of that is like, yeah, they haven't, I don't think they've updated the mechanism there for at least 10 years, right? It's not, uh, uh, it's good. They're making money. Uh, if they'll filter more, they won't make more money, right? So they're not interested in doing that. It's, it's, it's not win. There's no win here in improving it for them.
You know,
And I think that's where we're stuck. And maybe a ruling here, right, would actually push them at least to make modifications to that engine. It'll be interesting.
I wish somebody
Um,
would sue Etsy because Etsy drives me crazy. Because what they do is when you search for something, it shows the lowest price so it'll show the image of the product and the lowest price you can get it for. But that doesn't mean it's actual the lowest price for the product you're looking at. So for instance,
Hmm.
um I'll be looking for a thing and it comes in a pack of 3, right? So there's a pack of 3 option and it'll say $5, $5 for a pack of 3. I'm like, oh great, that's awesome. But then when I click on it, it's not the $5 for the pack of 3. It's $5 for one, and the pack of 3 is really 15.
Mm-hmm.
So what Etsy does is whatever you put in your like side thing, it'll post the cheapest price as the advertising price with the image when you're looking at stuff. And it is so misleading and it drives me crazy. And when I'm again with like 3D printed stuff, I'll be like, "Oh wow, that's a really good price for that 3D printed object." And then I click on it and you come to find out that the object's actually worth $50, not $10. They have a $10 option, but it's like 2 inches tall, not the full size image that they're displaying in
Mm-hmm.
the product thing. So they do that to trick you into going into the page, and it drives me crazy.
That's how Temu does it.
Oh, I hate it. I absolutely
Yeah.
hate it. I'm like, you're wasting my time. And not only that, but you're wasting the clicks because again, you know, when the people advertise their products, they pay per click. So as soon as somebody clicks on their product, they throw Etsy 25 cents. And
So,
it's just
so you guys are saying that somewhere on the Amazon page, there is a way to sort it by price and show you the cheapest one. The fact that it's not accurate, but it does go from the lowest, let's say, to the highest.
yeah.
And if I'm going and I'm searching for an HP KR532 printer, that's it.
yeah.
That's it. There is no way to show you
Yeah.
shoelaces.
But you put numbers there and they disregard the numbers
Yeah.
because
That's
the
another thing that's
proximity
annoying.
searches, the 4872, very similar to 4673. So it'll show that as well. It's
Okay.
like, because, yeah, it's trying to be too smart for its own good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's no way of telling it, don't be smart, right? It's like, I don't want your smarts. I want exactly this.
Yeah.
I bet you. I wonder if
Um,
there is. I know, like when you do Google searches,
no,
there's a way in the settings to say
yeah,
find the
not in Amazon.
listings exactly what I'm saying.
It's
Yeah,
not that
not
you
in Amazon.
click. You have to know the syntax how to do it. You have to put
There's no
minus
syntax.
this and in
That's the thing. Yeah, it
it's
doesn't
it's
exist in Amazon.
yeah, you have to have a degree in search searches to do that.
SEO.
So I'm rewinding back for a sec.
Yeah.
You talked about Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And I just registered and I'm reading, and because I never dove into this. So the main change, the main difference from Twitter, this is a federated service. So
Oh, so it's like
I'm not
Mastodon?
sure if already there exists, but it's based on something they call the AT protocol, which is an open source implementation of federated social media.
That's like Mastodon.
Wait, I'm
Exactly,
confused. Can you
exactly.
explain what that means? I don't know what
Yeah.
federated means.
So the idea of federation means we email is federated. Okay, what that does mean? Does that mean? It means there's a protocol, right? And you can run a server and connect to that server. You get a user account, and that user account can communicate with users on a different server. And the reason it's federated is because the each server can
Yeah, there's no way to shut it
rules
down.
its own users.
Yeah.
Each server rules its own users,
Ah.
basically. And
Mhm.
the federation of these silos, right, creates the federated communication space.
So does that mean
sort of.
Twitter is just one server, its own server?
Twitter
Twitter
shares
is a
the,
monolithic service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It runs a bunch of servers, but all of them are run by Twitter,
Mhm.
right? And so when you log in, you're always logging into Twitter, and only Twitter controls communication on it.
Mhm.
With Blue Sky, Blue Sky is a couple of things. One, it's a hosted Blue Sky at protocol server. It's probably always going to be the biggest one because it is the one developing the protocol. It is the one, but they are allowing, right, others to run their own services. It also means
Oh.
somebody else can write a different client, for example, to
Mhm.
use Blue Sky's service. There's actually a demo of something like this done by another group in their blogs.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they're taking the diaspora, Mastodon, what's called today the Fediverse. They're taking that concept and they're introducing this new protocol to it. So it's interesting because unlike Mastodon, um, and a bunch of others. Maybe you've heard about Lemmy. Lemmy is is um is an alternative to Reddit, also working in the Fediverse. That is a completely community driven open source thing. Uh, so not a lot of money is being poured that direction. But here you have Jack Dorsey trying to do a Fediverse sort type of service. So it's interesting. It's a bit like Linux. It's fragmenting a bit the market, the arena, but it is different than a Facebook or a Twitter, right?
Mhm.
Because he is relinquish. It's a lot more
He's
like the
giving up.
philosophy of Reddit that each group uh, moderates their own content, but here
Mhm.
it's on the level of the server,
He
right?
That's
actually,
interesting.
So
he's
yeah,
actually giving up control of.
in a way,
Yeah.
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 He's
So
saying,
does this qualify as open source? If so, if he's so, but I'm gonna simplify it to my simple
yeah,
brain. It sounds like he's like, hey, I coded this really cool application or whatever. You could
yeah.
take this application and you can modify it and you can run it on your own server and your own thing. Does that qualify as open source?
Um,
To a
so
point.
the protocol is open source for sure. I do not know. They're managing a lot of things on GitHub. So there's definitely a lot of projects and a lot of at least building blocks that are open source. The protocol itself is open, which means it is driven by a community and not just by the company. Uh, so I think it's his attempt at redeeming himself. Uh, because I do know in interviews, in certain points of view that he's reflected, he said that there were a lot of wrong turns with Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Twitter was a cool new thing, but yeah, and to the point, it's like whenever a corporate stepped in, right? The corporate world stepped in. Everything went to shits, right?
Yeah,
Because
because they
this
have
is
different
not what the
priorities.
right. This is not what the product was designed to do, right? And here there are these who are basically, shoving their own stuff on it.
Hmm.
So if you provide more control to the world, it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying it's going to be better because even Mastodon is has its own struggles. There's a lot of complexity going on, uh, but it'll be interesting. That's
I like it.
it's definitely, yeah,
I mean, when
definitely a lot more interesting. By the way, Threads, right?
mhm.
We mentioned that Threads claimed that at one point they will become open, so they're based on some sort of open protocol as well.
Oh, interesting.
But I do not think, I don't think they've opened yet. So
I really like the concept of open source and like kind of letting people do what they want with stuff because that's where you get innovation. That's where you get like crazy cool things that pop up. And I
right.
understand, why you would keep things private because then, if you're trying to make money off of it, you don't want to give your stuff away for free. But at the same time, I do like this like here's the thing, run with it. We started the framework, just finish it however you want to.
Mhm.
I've been using a lot of Godot. I switched from Unity to Godot, and I'm currently in a game jam, and it's been really fun to use the software. The you could tell when Unity had that mess up and all of these like Unity devs switched over to using Godot, and they've been releasing a lot of good content to make it easier for like a casual user to use. So I like it. So the more that things could get brought on my level, the more I'm just like, yay.
Are there any large players in the gaming? Amnon, I know we are running late, so
Uh,
I'll ask you, and that's it. Are there any large players in the gaming industry that shifted from Unity to Godot and like showcase that this is like the platform to go with?
I so a lot of companies came out and said that they're switching or they're finding they said they didn't commit. They said they're finding other alternatives. And but these companies are big, so I imagine well I say big, I mean it's like a team of 5, at least 5
Yeah,
or
yeah.
more. And I feel like it's too soon. I know there's some Godot games out there that are really fun to play. I haven't played them, but I just read the reviews and people are like, "Oh yeah, here's just some fun ones." I'm excited to see what comes out this year because like I said, a lot of companies said they were switching or that they were finding alternatives, and even this one company who invested millions of dollars into Unity to make custom tools. They came up straight up came out and said that they're splitting their teams now into working with Godot and like this other really popular open source gaming platform that I can't remember what it's called. Uh and I have noticed, like I said, Godot update. Every couple of weeks they're pushing out like a new patch or new update, and the what is it? What is it? The what is it? That phrase? The way of life or the quality of life has gone up, and I've been doing tutorials this past week and it's very user friendly. I'm actually really surprised because I also have tried to use Blender for me is not user friendly. There's a lot, it's like
It's very technical. I
a
agree.
very technical, but whoever designed Godot did a very good job of making somebody that is an artist that doesn't think technical, like my brain doesn't really work like that. It can, but I have to use extra brain power. But it's been really easy to make logical connections in the coding. So it uses its own coding, but the coding is kind of, I think it's based on Python. So it's really easy to digest. So coming from C sharp in Unity to Python or the G script or whatever it's called, I'm just like, oh, so much easier.
yeah.
Well, in their showcase page, I see a game that is for Windows, Linux, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox.
Yeah,
So there's
they're,
different. Yeah, just to publish for Nintendo Switch and Xbox, you need to pay money, right? So
yeah, yeah.
somebody's making money.
Oh yeah, I mean, people are using it. They're using Godot, uh, and that's why I'm really excited that they're getting to the point, or they are at the point where a casual user like myself can start creating content on it, and that's where Unity shined because Unity uh, was more for entry level. Like, hey, this is a hobby. Watch a couple months worth of tutorials, and you can make something, which is what I was doing. But Godot is even easier. Now, is it does it have all the capabilities of Unity? Probably not. It depends on what you're trying to do. But but they're adding new stuff all the time. I mean, it's one of those things where the more people that donate money and contribute to it, it's open source, so it just keeps getting better and better.
Awesome.
Good. All right. Anything else
Nope.
you want to add? All right. So thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And remember to change same passwords where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on 980 The Wave in Wilmington and 107.9 with his daily political show. You can listen to it live if you just tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave, or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch every week. That's for gaming, survival games, and some political points. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when the live show is going to be that week, because it changes, and or just download the recording and listen to it. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.